We are live as we travel the uphill road, coming to you from Black Bottom, #1 Detroit. We thank God that we have survived and now have arrived at the last stop. Living with reality, truth, and consequences. Exciting yet thoughtful conversations, monologue, dialogues, dynamic guests, interviews. Most importantly, you, the listening audience. Live chat. Soon coming will be live call-in as we grow. Here at the last stop, we follow proven mathematical steps to its logical, biological, natural, commonsensical conclusion. Like 1 + 1 = 2, right? We all learn like that. So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and who do you do? Why must we compete when we all say that we believe in peace? Well, all right now, unbuckle your seatbelts. You have arrived at the last stop. I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bey.
You know, our country is just run by criminals, and that in order to save our country, we're going to have to throw former presidents in prison, former secretaries of state need to go away for a long time. That sucks. That's, very indicative of how far we've fallen as a country, but it just has to happen. It just has to happen, because remember, there's this inequality. I call it disequality or inequity. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between, Donald Trump did something and Hillary Clinton did the same thing, and Trump's being punished and Hillary Clinton's not. And that would be unfair if they did the same thing and one was punished, one wasn't. Instead, we have the Democrats just outright treason, just outright manipulation, lying to the press, creating warrants when there shouldn't be, lying to the FISA court, covering it all up, getting away with all of it, and they aren't punished. Donald Trump, meanwhile, they try to throw him in jail because of a fine or because of a loan that he paid off to a bank that had no problem with how everything went down. So it's not like, well, we committed treason and they committed treason and we said, well, we better not just this time. It's like, no, they are insane. They are criminal. They need to be punished, because you see that even when we don't do anything wrong, even when Trump is not a tyrant, even when Trump doesn't do what he should have done the first time, throw Hillary Clinton in prison, there's no goodwill. There's no Trump, he didn't throw Hillary in prison, so we owe him one. They don't think like that. They don't take your goodwill or your kindness as a gift to show thanks. They see it as weakness and stupidity, because they would have done it to you if they had the chance. So you got to do it to them when you have the chance. At this point, it's only fair because they actually tried to throw Trump in prison when he didn't do anything wrong. So again, our entire, government setup is designed for precedence, right? If the whole reason that our parts are kept in check is because the idea is, if you do something, we're going to do it when we're in power. And so when you're in power, you go, well, we better not do that because they might be in power next, and we don't want to set that precedent. But Democrats keep setting these precedents, and Republicans don't do anything. It's like, well, if we were in, what if we did it? What if it was the other way around? It's like, no, it has to be actually. Actually, for our system to function, the threat of retribution is necessary. And when you're not doing what they do, when you aren't following the precedent that's set, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're actually destroying the whole system. You actually just have one side that's willing to use every lever of power in whatever way they can possibly manage, and the other side that refuses to ever lift it, even when their cause is just, and the crimes that the Democrats commit are actually real and damaging to the country, not just something made up by some DA in Georgia. Again, what's happening in Israel now is worthy of note, specifically because of the reaction that the rest of the world is having. Again, whether it's the bombing of the aid convoy, the World Food Kitchen, or the AI programs that they use to eliminate targets, or the AI machine guns they have mounted outside of gates, or the drones that they fly around at night playing the sound of a baby crying, hoping to lure people out to then shoot them with a drone-mounted machine gun. You would think at any one of these points, the outrage over these despicable acts would be enough for people of conscience to speak out against it. But so far, there's been a hell of a lot of silence from Western governments.
See, what we have here, uh, is a failure to communicate. Yes, most definitely a failure to communicate. But not a failure to illustrate. And when I say failure to communicate, I mean a failure for you and I just have to say for you, for most of you to comprehend. So that's what we have. We have a failure of comprehension, cognizant abilities to realize what's going on in your life, in my life, in our lives, the world around us. And this is, I'm displaying this on a national and international level. However, break it on down, this applies to the local level as well. Yes, we are not realizing how our local officials are robbing us, are complicit in the robbing of us up the food chain. Yeah, I'll say it, yeah, up the food chain. They say down the food chain, up the food chain, whichever way you want to look it, up, down, all around. The world is twisted upside down. And you know this, but you can't, again, cognizantly realize the reality of the situation. There's no other way to put this. So I'm so thankful that Almighty God has given me the ability to realize and understand. But let me look at this aid truck here that's going on in the Gaza that they say.
Yeah. So again, this is just ridiculous. It'll be buried soon. So apparently, IDF whistleblower says 1,000 trucks of aid were buried in pits. And they're like, well, the organization's just not there. Oh, because you kicked out all of the humanitarian people there. And this goes to what's happening in America as well, as one of the main forces who was actually helping the Palestinians was USAID.
You see, that is the food. What you were looking at there was the food, the big boxes, containers, and trucks that they are literally burying to starve the people there. This is an organized, what can I say? Actual visual and explanation of the organized culling of the people. When I mean culling of the people, I mean the slaughtering of the people. That's what they call the culling. We're going to cull the deer population. They're going to slaughter some of the deer population. So they're culling the people. And you have to go to the Henry Kissinger memorandum in 2000 and something. Look it up. Again, we've done the research. We're bringing it to you live and in color, putting the actual facts right in front of your face. All you've got to do is just a little bit of research. You got a computer right at your fingertips. All you got to do is take your phone and just talk into it. Henry Kissinger memorandum, the culling of the people. It'll come up right now, but they're working diligently to eliminate all of this type of information so that you won't be able to research it, because they don't want you to realize, as we keep hammering it into your skulls, into your brains, some of you wake up to the fact. But I'm on a rant there, but I want to bring this back to the local level too now. So what you're hearing on this international and national level, just bring it down to your local politicians whom help facilitate this, to help to keep you blind, your school board, your county commissioners, your city council, What are they doing for you? What have they done for you lately? You ask that question. See what Harrison is talking about right here.
The humanitarian for the, instinct for them. I get it for the guys in Ukraine. I feel that too. Do you not also feel that for the Palestinians? They're innocent after all.
Okay.
The vast majority.
I'm not going to belabor the Palestinian issue right here. I'm going to belabor our American issue right here. Okay? As you see, I got on my Donald Trump mugshot shirt here. Thought that was a heck of a thing. And have I agreed with everything that the president has done? No. Some of the things that he's done, I strongly disagree with. However, all in all, I'll tell you, if Kamala was the president or Joe Biden, again, they illustrated what they would do. They were arresting parents for protesting transvestite men in girls' bathrooms. They had men taking over women's sports. Okay, so that was that's just a small sample, that comes straightly to my mind. You had a Brittany Grenier, a male, in the Women's Basketball League, WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association. Okay, this is the idiocracy of they're coming for our children. You're my children. And they've captured many. Look at that right there. Why would someone be singing "We're coming for your children"? What is up with that? The queer, "We're coming for your children." Oh boy. You see, the first thing they said was children. You had to pay attention because then they bleeped it out these other times. Right there, clearly. Coming for your children. Here I want to introduce you to Robert Barnes, constitutional lawyer, just a brilliant attorney. He's going to explain something to you. I said I was going to get to some medical issues. And here's a very important one right here.
But to the fluoride point, The great work by Robert Kennedy, great work by the Fluoride Action Network that won that suit in federal court, said fluoride needs to come out. It needs to be identified as the toxin that you identify it is, that it has been, that the court decision said it was. And then what does Bondi do? She goes and works with the Chemical Association to appeal that, challenge that, and undermine that. And this is happening repeatedly.
We have the suit won. We have the FDA saying taking it out.
Now, how can that be? Pam Bondi, the Attorney General now, she appeals this decision? I mean, this is ludicrous, Attorney General Pam Bondi. So, my family, I'm bringing this to you. I want you to know what's going on and why we cannot heal ourselves because of, I'm going to have to call her, this is treasonous. She's a traitor to the people. Donald Trump must fire her ass. Plain and simple. Fire her ass. Mr. President.
Anymore. And then she goes in and has the Inspector General say, no, we want to keep it in, and we're going to fight this and appeal this court victory. This is the courts and the proper way with lawsuits, class act. This has all been done properly and decades of work and brain damaged children, and then she does this. I mean, it makes me really pissed off.
Yeah. Pissed off. Yes, Alex, pissed off really kind of ain't the word for it, is it?
Fluoride, that you mentioned before with Tim Dillon and others, you nailed it. Continues to undermine good efforts at other aspects of the Trump administration. Not just her mishandling of team files, mishandling of other issues, the Roger Ver case, Roger Ver being still facing criminal charges and life in prison for taxes he didn't owe when he kept begging to know what taxes he supposedly owed based on a bogus crypto case brought by the Biden administration. But to the fluoride point, the great work by Robert Kennedy, great work by the Fluoride Action Network that won that suit in federal court, said fluoride needs to come out. It needs to be identified as the toxin that you identify it is, that it has been, that the court decision said it was. And then what does Bondi do? She goes and works with the association to appeal, challenge that, and undermine that. And this is happening repeatedly. I'll give another example. Robert Kennedy is trying to take apart everything that is happening with the COVID vaccine, getting it off the kids list, ultimately getting off the PrEP list, getting it off any list for pregnant women, getting it off for young men, young people generally. And then what's happening in the Brooke Jackson case? Brooke Jackson, for those that may not remember, is the whistleblower, blew the whistle on Pfizer all the way back in September of 2020 when Attorney General Bill Barr hid it from President Trump, disclosing that the Pfizer vaccine that was promised contractually to be safe, effective vaccine for the prevention of COVID-19 and got billions of dollars from our taxpayer money, in fact, turned around and it was a dangerous, ineffective, not even a vaccine, and didn't prevent COVID-19. And consequently, she brought a QTAM case, a False Claims Act case, and that was dismissed because the Biden administration said vaccines are holy, they can't be challenged. They didn't dispute a single fact that we alleged. They only said vaccines are holy, can't be challenged, for that variation thereof. Well, guess what Bondi is doing? Bondi's telling the Fifth Circuit that the Trump administration has the exact same vaccine policy as the Biden administration, even though Robert Kennedy has made it crystal clear it's exactly the opposite of the Biden administration.
Oh,
so we see these constant efforts by Pam Bondi and she's received $200,000 connected to a Pfizer law firm that she was working for and lobbying for just a few years ago. She's dismissed all Foreign Corrupt Practices Act claims concerning Pfizer, according to published reports.
Wow.
Those included the Pfizer bribing the European Union to get the COVID vaccine through the European Union.
And by the way, Barnes, I had a hunch you'd go here first. That's why I didn't even mention it. But you've been involved in these suits with Kennedy and key whistleblowers from Pfizer. We don't just want to attack Bondi and all this has to be done. And Susie Wiles as well. I mean, they're both...
Susie Wiles, another name.
One of their main clients is Pfizer, and they keep overriding what Kennedy's doing and what Trump promised, and it really is a major scandal. So I want you to elaborate on that, and how do you think we should handle this? Because I mean, if this continues on, I'm gonna.
You see, so much is happening, people. So much is going on here, and that's what they call the cloud and pivot strategy. The Coward and Piven strategy was to just overload the people. I'll just say American people, you and I, to overload us with so much stuff that we talking about the kitchen sink, right? Everything in the kitchen sinks, the baby's bath water, just a whole 20 yards. No, excuse me, the whole 100 yards. So that we'll be bombarded with so much stuff that we can't cognizantly realize and focus on the reality of our existence, people. Come on, family. We must arise to the occasion. We must accept the challenge of chewing bubble gum and walking and talking all at the same time. We have to do this. There's the alternative is death and slavery. Persecution, slavery, and death. Yes, you won't be able to speak out. You'll be eating bugs. We'll be eating bugs, drinking wastewater, owning nothing, and being happy at the same time, doped up, drugged up, playing video games, having video sex, until they finally master the techniques of just eliminating us altogether. Because that is the plan, is to kill us all. Not all of us. The Georgia Guidestones allowed for, I think it was 500,000. 5 million or 500,000. Do the research, please. And it's 5 something. It ain't 5 billion, I'll tell you that. There's approximately 8 billion on the planet. No, they want to get rid of at least 7 billion of the 8. But I'm saying they're getting rid of more than 7 billion. They want, I think it's 500,000 people that they want. And that will just be to service them. Them, who is them? The so-called elites, the Bill Gates, the King Charleses. You just should listen to some of their speeches. Listen to what they're saying. They're telling us straight up what they're doing and are going to do. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, praise be to Allah, he informed us of these things. He said that this satanic structure, this satanic world will tell us what they have done, they will tell us what they are doing, and they will tell us what they are going to do. And not only tell us, they will show us. They have shown us these things. Oh, Allah.
Go to war with Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi. Because as you know, on the fluoride, you mentioned it, but you can elaborate. We have the suit one, we have the FDA saying taking it out, we have the head of HHS saying, we have thousands of studies, new FDA study, indexing and all, a whole bunch of states banning it. The public wants it out, though nobody in the world even has it anymore. And then she goes in and has the Inspector General say, no, we want to keep it in, and we're going to fight this and appeal this court victory. This is the courts and the proper way with lawsuits, class action. This has all been done properly and decades of work and brain damaged children, and then she does this. It makes me really pissed off.
Absolutely. I think there's no choice about it. We got Swampy Susie Wiles, the chief of staff. She placed a couple of people in Robert Kennedy's staff to be sort of minders. They helped approve a mRNA vaccine for particular groups of COVID kids. Well, while he was on vacation, he had to come back and fire both of them. One of them apparently tried to damage his car on the way out.
Oh.
So, the problem, the source of a lot of the problems is, Susie Wiles is a career lobbyist. That's what she does. Goes back to the Reagan administration. Has big corporate clients, military-industrial complex clients, big pharma clients, big agriculture clients. Is it a coincidence we keep seeing these amnesty sanctuary policies being discussed with the Trump administration by Trump himself on immigration related to big ag? It keeps coming back to this. What do we
do about her and again, Bondi work for her?
Big ag, the big agricultural industries. You hear that terminology, big ag. That's agriculture. Going back, how long he say? To the Reagan administration, but it goes back further than that even, It goes back to Eisenhower giving us a warning on his farewell address. about the military-industrial complex being controlled by the technological elite. You see, these the white coats in the laboratories, the unelected people. Who elected Bill Gates to block out the damn sun? God damn him. May God damn him. Who elected Bill Gates to release genetically modified mosquitoes into the air, into the atmosphere? Who elected these, I don't know, these people who are spraying all these chemicals in our atmosphere, killing us, killing the land, killing the soil, killing the vegetables? Do you see? Oh, say, can you see? By the dawn's early light, the dawn, Father, the dawn. Can you see, Father Khan, the discrimination? Come on, tell what can be done here? As that question that Alex asked Robert Barnes, and I know you guys don't like Alex Jones. Well, Tough Titty said to Kitty, wake up to reality. This man has been correct in his analysis. This is what I'm talking about. His analysis have been correct.
And they're thick as thieves. Everybody was worried about Bondi because of this connection. Now it's not, we're worried, it's proof. And God knows what else they're doing. What do we do about this?
I think we have to kind of start putting that part of the administration on blast. I think we got to expose it to the world. We got to discuss it. I know there's a lot of people who are afraid to discuss it because they don't want to have their access shut off.
Fire her ass.
And you know, Swampy Susie made that crystal clear.
Fire her ass. Fire they asses. They must be fired. They must be terminated. It's just that simple. You see the book here, How to Eat to Live. Okay, I guess with the Pfizer thing, with the fluoride thing, with the big ag, the agricultural industry, and those spraying the chemicals to poison us through our food, water, air. How to Eat to Live. Given to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad by God himself. I know y'all don't like hearing that either. Yeah, this man from Georgia said that God taught him everything that he is teaching us. And he gave it to him to teach us. He didn't just give it to him so he could run and bury that light up under a bushel basket. No, he said that God gave it to him and commissioned him to teach us. How to Eat to Live.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad writes, quote, remember, we kill ourselves by what we eat and how we eat it. Just as food is our source of life, it is also our source of death. As God is taught, food keeps us here and it takes us away. End quote. Continuing on page 57 of How to Eat to Live, the messenger writes, the earth is full of food, but good health cannot enter our bodies until we have the proper food in the body and the proper food for thought.
For thought.
If we do not have the proper food for our thinking, we still cannot enjoy peace, good health, joy, and gladness of heart. End quote. The food that we ingest is not merely physical. The messenger writes on page 31 of How to Eat to Live, there are some people who claim that they do not receive beneficial results as they should. This is due to wrong mental food that they are eating, which has an effect on their digestive system. To get good results from eating the proper foods, we must have good thoughts. End quote. As taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the thoughts that we produce in our minds have a direct connection to physical health. Nourishing both our bodies and our minds with the proper foods enriches, and elevates the quality of our lives. Expressed on page 58 of How to Eat to Live, if heaven does not begin within, we will never enjoy it on the outside. Brothers and sisters, let us heed the guidance of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and eat to live. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
We either deep six the deep state or the deep state deep six is us. And for President Trump, either he drains the swamp or the swamp will drain him. I recommend going through the impeachment route. I think that constitutionally that's the proper protocol for a president or vice president anyway. So impeach them. I mean, that's great for the midterms. They go through an impeachment proceeding, disclose it publicly, everything that went on in the House, go through the impeach Barack Hussein Obama, impeach Joe Biden.
Yeah, people don't think you can impeach somebody after the fact. That means pull their presidential immunity, remove their presidential immunity by defrocking them.
Exactly, and publicly exposing this for once and for all, and that there be some consequence for all of this. And so that's one parallel track.
If Trump can get that done, they would win 100 seats in the House.
Wow. Okay.
It would be a massive way. I mean, what the public